Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. There is a potential new credit card benefit that could be coming your way, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, and I will explain in this video. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So I was at a conference recently, and there was a panel in which there was a guy up there who was fairly high up in the travel industry. I don't want to say who he was because he was being pretty interesting and pretty truthful, and I think if you call out people when they're truthful and interesting, oftentimes they learn that they're better off not being truthful and interesting in the future. Anyway, he's on this panel, and I can't remember quite what led up to this, but he starts talking about the fact that the airline industry has this new technology that is probably going to be rolled out where you would have the ability as a customer to actually pay to jump into the front of the customer service line, or at the very least, jump into the line of people that have paid in order to get customer service more quickly. So you might, see your flight's canceled and you're like, oh, I got to talk to somebody. You could pay $5 or $10 and then you could get to the front of the customer service line instead of just calling in like everybody else and hoping that maybe you would eventually be dealt with. And one of the things he said as a adjunct to this was, he could even see that the credit card industry would start with their travel credit cards giving credits toward these jump the line payments that you would make if you wanted to get customer service faster. He seemed to think that this was a very great idea. He talked about the fact that customer service reps at the airlines are overburdened because of the big sort of travel push post-pandemic, assuming you think of it as post-pandemic, and the fact that it is, just like every other industry, difficult to hire new customer service reps, so you have situations where people are waiting on hold for a very long time. So if you were in a situation where you felt like you really needed to talk to someone quick, it would be nice for you to be able to pay a little something and get to a customer service rep quicker. And somebody, I can't remember if it was him or somebody else on the panel, even suggested that if people were paying to jump the line, these little fees could go toward hiring new customer service reps, in the fact that maybe they could pay more for customer service reps, which I'm not really totally sure that I buy, but maybe. Now, I was a little bit floored by this conversation, very surprised at what I was hearing, and I looked around the room to see if anybody else was sort of making the same face, something like that I was making, and nobody else seemed like they were having much of a reaction, so I'd love to hear your opinion about this. To me, being asked to pay extra to jump the line in order to get customer service is like being asked to pay for something that should be part of the initial sale. When you buy a ticket, if something goes wrong, customer service should be baked into the purchase price of that ticket, not something where if something goes wrong, you then have to get on the phone and think about whether you want to pay something extra in order to get customer service in a timely manner. Plus, once you pay to jump the line, everyone else gets pushed back. And then, of course, over time, people start to realize that the only way to actually talk to someone is to pay, because if you just wait and don't pay, you'll never get any customer service. And then, once everyone decides that they are going to pay, that means that the airlines are making a ton of money with you paying for customer service for you to get the exact same level of customer service that you were getting before. When everyone jumps the line, no one jumps the line. And then, of course, once we reach that point, then you have to wonder if the auction for customer service starts, where you call in and they say, here's how much it will cost for you to get the first in line, here's how much it will cost for second, here's how much it will cost for third. But of course, there's no guarantee that you're even going to stay in that place in line, because if somebody comes in after you and is willing to pay more, we're going to put them in front of you. So then you never even know, and you're competing against everybody else just to get customer service to speak to you when you have already purchased a product. And oftentimes, sometimes there's weather and so there's understandable things, but oftentimes the fault is the airline to begin with. So now they are making you pay more just in order to talk to them to fix a problem that they caused. And then to suggest that travel credit cards could add this jump the line fee as something that you could get a credit back for as part of the benefits of your travel credit card feels to me like a way of legitimizing bad behavior on the parts of the airline charging you for something that should be part of your ticket. Now, I understand how the world works, and I know that if you pay more for something, you can expect to get more, and if you pay less, you can expect to get less. But this one feels a little more wrong to me in the fact that when you buy a ticket, you are not buying it with the idea that if something goes wrong, you then have to purchase customer service on the other end. Maybe I'd feel better about it if it really was sort of like, if you buy a more expensive ticket on the front end, this is one of the benefits that comes from the ticket. And if you're in, economy and you don't pay for it in advance, well, then you're going to be in the line with everyone else. At least in that case, you know beforehand that you are going to end up in the very long line, or you're going to end up in the speedy line. But to have the problem come up and then have to pay when you are making that decision, and knowing that you essentially have to pay in order to get in the line at all, that's what's a little more galling. And you know that once one airline starts it, most of the others will fall in line. Maybe you'll have one or two that are sort of holdouts because they see it as a competitive advantage not to charge these jump the line fees. But if they find out that it's not a competitive advantage, well, then why not get those fees if they can? So you may have a new travel benefit coming to your credit card in the future, if you can think of it as a benefit. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Put those in the comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews. We talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you're not going to leave a comment or you're not going to go to the website, watch this video.